So my name is Michael Blankenship. I'm from Arlington, Washington. This is a little bit about my Audi S4. So just a little background on the car. I've had the car since I was 19. Before that car, I had an Audi A4, and anybody that owns an A4, no, they really want an S4. They just want the power, and they look better. And so I always dreamed about getting one. Then when I got rid of my A4, I saw a single owner B5 S4 that an old lady owned that was just completely stock, 100,000 miles, and she wanted $6 grand for it, and it was just way too good to pass up. So first thing I did is run to the bank, and I was like, how can I get this loan? I was just a kid in college, but I had to have the car. And ended up picking it up, and it was probably 2 weeks before I started modifying it. Intercooler, I had downpipes and all this stuff, and it just, as it got faster and faster, it just kind of developed this obsession, like how far can I take this car? So anyways, I had the car for years throughout college, and it was low horsepower, stock turbo, just a few bolt-ons, and I started really getting in the car community over at school. We started some clubs over at Washington State University. Before you know it, we had tons of students getting together. We had meets of like 100+ kids in school, and I was just really obsessed with cars, and I love talking about cars and talking to people about their cars. And then when I graduated college and got my first job and started making money, and I wasn't a broke college student anymore, that's when I went deep down the rabbit hole and started chasing the power numbers. So first thing I bought was a standalone, and I wanted to tune. And then I said, okay, so let's see what we can do to get more out of this. And I do bigger turbos. And then before you know it, I saw this build of a guy who had relocated the turbos on his Audi to the top. Typically they sit underneath the V. You can't even see them. And I just fell in love with it, and I was like, I want to do that. So then I bought a TIG welder and taught myself how to weld, which was one of the hardest things that I think I've ever learned. And so then I started fabricating all these manifolds and an exhaust system. And one thing led to another, and I just kept going deeper and deeper down this rabbit hole. Next thing you know, there was a fully forged bottom end, got rods, JE pistons, and the next thing you know, I'm picking up some heads. It's got the heads from a 2.8 Audi A4. It's a naturally aspirated motor, but they flow way more than the stock S4 heads. So picked those up, threw a full SuperTech valve train in the car, and slapped the heads on. And then the car started getting the car going. And as always, when you take a car that's built with 250 horsepower and try and crank it up, you run into issues after issues with stuff breaking. And slowly got the car really dialed in. Originally it had twin GT2871R turbos on it, and we recently swapped those out for some GTX 2860 RS turbos. Boost response is really good on them, hitting full boost by 4200. We got a dyno day-to-day, hoping to hit 700 wheel, which definitely should, since it's really gotten a lot more power than we originally thought we were going to go for. It's going to get a roll cage probably this winter, and some bigger brakes and much bigger tires due to some traction issues. So growing up, I was born around G-forces. My dad was drag racing since I was a kid, and it started with a 69 Nova that he had a 350 in, and we used to go down to the gas station during the summers and pick up energy drinks, and we kind of turned the street out in front of our house into a quarter-mile strip. And we used to go up and down the road, and I just fell in love with G-forces right then and there. And so that's kind of where it came from growing up, my obsession with cars. He knew how to work on cars much better than me, but he would never help me. He would say, do this and do that. And I know it would take him 5 seconds to do something, and it would take me 10 hours. But that's how I kind of learned. And before you know it, I was able to do all sorts of things to a car. My car is completely built by hand by me. The only thing on the car that wasn't built by me was the bottom end on the engine, which was assembled by a machine shop. I did all the welding, all the fabrication, all the tuning, the wiring harness was all built in my garage. And so it's kind of just from the ground up shop built car. So recently picked up a draggy, and I went out and clocked my first draggy pull was a 5.49 seconds, 60 to 130. And that was while shifting like a grandma. So I'm hoping to get it down to like a 5.3 with a little bit of practice. Doing some no lift shift ought to help quite a bit. And that's kind of the end game goal, down low fives. I think that's a lot for this platform, and there's not too many B5s that'll push that. As far as going to the drag strip, it's something I want to do. The gearing on these cars is not phenomenal. It's not set up for drag racing. They're great highway cruisers. If you want to do some roll racing, they're phenomenal for that. The first gear is just super short in them. And so, but I'll take it, and I'm hoping to clock into the 10s. We'll see where it goes from there. I'm not an avid drag racer. My purpose when I built the car was to build a highway roller that could really hurt some feelings. I was wondering if I should pull the headlights and the filters off the turbos for it, the airflow.
How much are your restrictions on your filters? Are they big restrictions? They're pretty big. So.
Yeah, that'd be worth it. They come out, just let them take them out in like 2 minutes. I got the tools in the car.
Has it been on the dyno before?
Nope.
Really? So your 700 is just total dreams? Or is that kind of a realistic number?
No, that's a realistic number.
Can you throw me that strap holder, please?
Yeah.
According to the 60 to 130 times.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a 5.49, 60 to 130. She looks like a grandma.
It's a what? Sorry.
This car was literally, the motor was taken apart yesterday. Oh my god, I can't believe I made that much power.
That's nuts, dude. Is this a record? Like, what's happening here?
I try to take it in, like, that's a lot of fucking power. I came in here like, 600, I'll be happy, praying for 7, and then I just come in here spinning on dynos and making 850, that's crazy. Holy crap.
Spinning?
Yeah, we were getting some wheel spin, we were forward on the dyno. Holy crap. So what's next? Dyno down so it stays in one piece. You know how fast this block will crack at 850 mil?
Yeah.
Oh.
The block's still good. It's the pulley that's not.
Yeah.